I got hundreds of questions about my homemade bread on my video that I posted a couple weeks ago, so I am going to answer some of those questions while I make a loaf of bread and some hamburger buns. This question was asked a ton. So you're going to be using instant dry yeast. I have never used the quick rise. Instant dry yeast works every single time. Will honey work? Yes, we're actually using honey today. So I would normally use sugar, but I have honey, so I'm going to use that. You might even be able to do some maple syrup, but I haven't tried that yet. Honey works and sugar works. I got a ton of questions about flour. I tried this recipe with gluten-free flour and it was a complete fail. So no, this will not work with gluten-free flour. I am still doing my best to find a recipe for that. I went and bought a $15 bag of gluten-free flour and I've tried a couple recipes and they were terrible. So I'm doing my best and I will share that when I find one that actually works. And speaking of flour, what brand of flour do I use? I use Costco flour. I buy the unbleached organic and it's a 10-pound bag, but it comes, you get 2 bags when you order. So you'll get 20 pounds of flour and it's 20 bucks. And it's like $2 to ship it. I don't have a Costco near me. I don't even have a Costco membership, but I order from them and I always get my flour and my sugar and my yeast from them. Do you need to let it bloom? So when I first started making this bread recipe, I always let it bloom. And then I was in a rush one day and I didn't let it bloom and it turned out just fine. So I never let it bloom anymore. There was somebody who said they were an older baker and they've always heard that you need to let it bloom. Okay, but I don't, and it works every single time. So, I mean, it's more efficient. You're quicker when you do this. So, let it bloom or don't, it works either way. Yes, I realize not everybody has a mixer, and in the video I was like kind of adamant that you need to mix it with your KitchenAid mixer. I don't know, that's just what we call our mixer. We don't call it just a mixer, we call it the KitchenAid. So that kind of just rolled off my tongue. But if you don't have a mixer, I realize some people don't, you can just mix it with your hands and knead it with your hands. You'll just need to knead it for 10 minutes instead of 6 minutes. When do you add the milk? Anytime. This is the 4th ingredient that I put in. So I have my water, my yeast, my honey, and then I just added my milk. It really doesn't matter. Speaking of milk, can you use half and half instead of milk? Probably, but I've never used it. I also had somebody ask me if they could use 2%. I'm sure that's fine. And actually, when I found this recipe years and years ago, and I've altered it since, it called for powdered milk. And I have never had powdered milk. I just have raw milk, and that's what I use every single time, and it works. So I'm sure half and half will work. I'm sure 2% will work. All right, there's still 8 more questions. I'm gonna have to do a part 2.